Peter Brown arrived in London in October 1912. He didn't have a place to stay. It's all right. My luck will help me find a room, he thought, smiling. Peter often thought about luck. He would tell everyone, "One day, I'm going to become rich. Lucky people get rich, and I'm lucky." After walking for 2 hours, Peter finally found a room in a house near London Bridge. The room wasn't very big, but it was cheap. The landlord, Mr. Johnson, looked at Peter carefully. "What's your name?" "Where are you from?" he asked. "Peter Brown." "I'm from Germany," Peter replied. "Well, you can have the room, but I want 3 weeks' money in advance." "But I've only got 2 weeks' money," Peter said. "Tomorrow is Sunday. You can't find work on Sunday, so when will you give me the 3rd week's money?" Peter smiled with his mouth, but not his eyes. "I can find work. I'm lucky. Good things happen to me." "It's called Peter's luck," he said. London streets on Sunday. Peter stayed in bed all morning. In the afternoon, he went for a walk in the park. After an hour, he snatched a bag from a woman in Regent Street. The woman shouted, "Stop! Stop!" But Peter was now 60 meters away from her, and there were no other people nearby. He stopped and opened the bag. There was some money in it, but not much. He took the money out and then threw the bag into the river. Later that day, he walked past a supermarket where many people were shopping. Peter moved carefully among them. He stood behind a fat man for a while, then quietly moved away. The man didn't notice Peter's hand in his back pocket, but now the man's wallet was inside Peter's shirt. It was a big, fat wallet. When he got back to the house, he gave the landlord the 3rd week's money for the room. "You found work on a Sunday. Where? Who did you work for?" Johnson asked. Peter smiled. "I told you, I'm lucky. It's Peter's luck." For the next 5 months, Peter Brown walked the streets of London almost every day. He stole handbags from women, items from shops, and took wallets from men's pockets. One morning, he quietly took a wallet from the pocket of a young man with a kind face. Peter was usually a very skilled pickpocket. People never suspected a thing, but not that morning. The man with the kind face was quick. He turned around, saw Peter, and shouted, "Hey, you! That's my wallet. Come back here." But Peter was a good runner, too. In 5 seconds, he was in another street, then around another corner, and finally, he jumped onto a bus. Peter's luck, Peter said, laughing. The great plan. More luck came Peter's way that week. He first learned about Tom Smith's money in a pub near his landlord's house. Johnson went to the pub most evenings and sat with his friend, Smith. Smith had a shop close to the pub where he bought and sold a variety of items: books, tables, beds, chairs, watches, lamps. When Peter went into the pub that evening, he saw Johnson and Smith at a table near the window. There were many people in the pub. Peter bought a drink, then sat on a chair near Johnson and Smith. They didn't notice him. Peter sat with his back to them and listened. "I need money to buy things when people bring them in," Smith said. "Some money, yes, but £1,000 or more, ... "And in the shop?" Johnson asked. No, Smith answered. "It's not in the shop. It's in my room," Smith said. "Do you have a good place to put it?" Johnson asked. Smith laughed. "A very good place," he said. Peter sat with his drink, thinking. He knew Smith's shop because it was on the same street as Johnson's house. Peter often walked past it. 1,000 pounds or more. I'm going to get that 1,000 pounds. Then I can do anything, maybe start a new life in America, he thought. He smiled. Peter's luck again. So the money was in the room at the back, in a very good place. But where was that place? The next morning, Peter walked slowly past Smith's shop. He didn't go in, but looked through the window. The old man was in the shop, but he didn't see Peter. Peter saw an open door to the room at the back of the shop. Inside the room, there was a table, 2 chairs, and a big cupboard. Was Smith's money in that cupboard? Suddenly, the old man looked up, and Peter quickly turned and walked away. The night of the fire, Peter didn't go to bed that night. He packed all his things into a bag, sat in an armchair, and waited. At midnight, he went downstairs and walked out of the house. It was a cold night. Peter looked up at the moon in the sky and said, "Are you a lucky moon?" Peter's lucky moon. He went to Smith's shop and looked around. The street was empty. There was nobody. He took a small hammer from his jacket pocket and broke the glass of the shop door. Then he put his hand through and opened the door. Peter quickly went inside the shop. He closed the door behind him and put his bag on the floor. Then he quietly walked across the shop to the door of the back room. He opened it and went inside. It was dark, but moonlight came through the window, and Peter could see the big cupboard. The little hammer quickly opened the cupboard. There were many files and papers inside. Some of the papers fell out onto the floor. "Who's there?" Smith called out. Peter didn't move. Only his eyes shifted, looking around the room. Then a door at the back of the room opened, and Tom Smith came in with a candle. He saw Peter. "What the?" He began. Peter quickly grabbed the old man's arm and pulled it up behind his back. Then he held the hammer in front of Smith's face and said, "Where's the money? Tell me. Money? What money?" "There isn't any money," Smith said. "There is. You told Johnson about it in the pub. Pound 1,000 or more." "Where is it?" said Peter. Smith said nothing. "Tell me, or I'm going to break your arms, first one arm and then the other one." "Where is it?" said Peter. Smith tried to pull his arm away. He tried to yell, but no words came out. Peter held the hammer in front of Smith's eyes. "Tell me, or this hammer goes into your face." All right. It's under the cupboard on the floor," said Smith. Peter pushed the old man to the cupboard. "Get it now," he said. The old man put the candle on the floor and pulled the cupboard away from the wall. Then he got between the cupboard and the wall and bent down. There was a small box on the floor, and Smith took it out. Peter grabbed the box from the old man's hands and opened it. It was full of money. Peter smiled. "I know you," Smith said suddenly. "You live at Leo Johnson's house." "Who is Johnson?" "I don't know him," said Peter. He began to take the money out of the box and put it inside the pockets of his jacket. "You do know him. You live in his house. Johnson told me about you. You single quotes read ... double quotes," said Smith. "All right, so you know me, but nobody's going to find me. I can go far away with this money." He laughed. All the money from Smith's box was now in Peter's pockets. He gave Smith a little push. Now go back inside your bedroom and stay there." He pushed him again. "Go on. Keep moving." The old man began to walk across the room with the oil lamp. Suddenly, he turned and hit Peter on the head with the lamp. "No," cried Peter. The lamp broke and fell on the floor next to the papers from the cupboard. The oil from the lamp spilled on the floor, carrying the fire to the papers. Smith tried to run inside the shop, but Peter jumped on him, and they both fell onto the floor. The old man's head hit the floor, and after that, he didn't move. Peter heard the sound of the fire before he saw it. He turned around and saw that the flames were big. Peter quickly got up and ran through the shop. He found his bag at the front door. He went outside onto the street and began to run again. When he reached the end of the street, he stopped and looked back. Black smoke was now coming from the shop door. He thought about the old man on the floor in the back room, but only for a second. Then he turned and ran again. Peter's lucky ship, 5 days later, on Wednesday, April 10th, 1912. Peter was in Southampton with thousands of other people. They came to see the new ship. They're the biggest and fastest ship in the world. It was going on its first voyage across the Atlantic Ocean to New York, carrying over 2,000 people. On that day in Southampton, some of the people were ship's passengers, while others were there just to look at the incredible new ship. And there it was. Peter was a happy young man. He was a passenger with a ticket in his pocket, a ticket to New York. Life is good. He thought, Peter's luck got me the money for my ticket, and Peter's luck is taking me to America. This is the end of my old, poor life, he said, laughing, and he walked onto the Titanic. That is a compelling ending. The reader knows that Peter's luck is about to run out on the ill-fated Titanic.